What up, my fellow rambunctious people? I'm back with a weird update, and it's just off the bat. I just figured let's just roll the camera, because I got a lot to say, and I don't know, I haven't really been updating as often as I should about what my life's going through at the moment. You guys obviously don't need to hear everything that goes on in my life, but I really like to tell you the story of how I do things. So it's been about 2 months nearly since I started using escitalopram, which is an antidepressant which causes my depression and anxiety to disperse and go away. And it's sort of, there are peak days where I'd forget to take the pills. Like, there's one day where I'd just be like, it gets to the evening and I'm like, shit, I should have done it. And then I finally go ahead and do it. But then the repercussions of waiting for that long ends up haunting me. And it sort of made me reflect a bit. I don't think these pills are really helping me being honest. I think they're more so a stimulant to bring out the positive side, but I don't honestly believe I'm being honest with myself. Because without the pills, I'm just a sad wreck. I remember going through this actually yesterday. I nearly forgot to take my pill, and the repercussions of that went insane. And I just sat there feeling so self-loathed, and even sometimes the pill doesn't always work for me. Now, overall, yes, it's been working amazing. Like, the pills, I advise any one of you, if you haven't taken any form of professional help yet, please seek it out, because you never know, it might actually help you. But for me, it has its hit and miss days, and especially with my productive cycle, and obviously just sleep schedule and all that stuff, which really gets me to thinking, like, what if I am actually hiding behind just some pills? I'd like to think at the end of the day that I won't have to rely on these as a big thing. But it sort of makes you think, doesn't it? As untrue as it might be, it's fine if it's untrue. I'd like to have that clarification, but unfortunately, when it comes to my mental state, I very much like to be honest with myself. I like to be honest with my community, and that's always expressed. So when you start seeing me being in the happiest places, it reminds me of a day where I used to be fine. But then again, I've matured over time. Like, I've had so many problems happen to me, and with these pills, all it really does is help me get through those problems better, which you think, wow, that's actually a really good accomplishment. Getting through all those problems, great job, you're striving for better. But it always lingers in the back of your head. What if it is just the pills doing this work and it's not really you? I have this weird psychosis that and it does get me stressed. I don't ever want to be unlike me. All I ever want to be is just me. And if that doesn't work with the pills, I don't know, maybe is it worth taking them again? Because I don't want to look sad, but that is naturally me without the pills. That is honest. So what do I go for? And these are questions that are just haunting me right now. And I just came from my last convention in America, San Japan. By the way, that concert was absolutely amazing. It was the best performance we've ever done, and we couldn't be happier with how many people were jumping and going crazy. If you were there at the concert, you rocked. But then I got back home after a long flight and after a long sleep, and I just sort of went off the deep end. I was supposed to work. I was supposed to get right back into it. And yeah, I did make a song. I'm not releasing anything about it yet, but I have made something. But other than that, I haven't really been making videos. So I hoped that maybe by starting off with something as a vlog like this, letting everybody know how I'm doing, what I'm going to be doing next, everything like that, might clear up the air for me so that tomorrow I can really kick it and do it better. Because I plan to do like bulk recordings every Monday, and then every day I sort of have something to edit on the side. So I figured I'd update you fine fuckos as to what I'm going to be doing lately. A lot of Let's Plays are coming, so you're going to expect things like Eggs for Bart, I think some more Harry Potter. I don't plan this stuff. This is how bad it is. Like, I could tell you everything that I'm doing, but I don't want to make false promises, and I don't want to seem like it's a lie. See, I could theoretically tell you that I'm planning stuff, but it could just go under any minute. So you never know with me. I can't exactly tell you what song I'm working on next, what song is going to come out next, what video games I'm going to be playing, when's my next stream, because I just don't plan. Whatever I do, it always falls flat, or I always get really upset with it. And I'm trying my best to change the mentality that planning is proficient and it's fine, but I remember when I used to plan back in the day, people used to say get a grip and just let life run free. So obviously trying to hear from two different sides here, it doesn't always help. So I'm trying to find my own way of doing it, using each and every advice, finding a medium. But as they say, it's a lot easier said than done. Meanwhile, every single day I've been going into my fan server on Discord. By the way, if you want in on that, you'd have to come to one of my streams. So make sure you follow DAGames Official on Twitter so that you can keep out for the next stream, watch in the Discord server, and just follow by the regular rules. I guess another thing that I've noticed by being in the community and especially looking in the outside world is there are a lot of problems that people deal with all the time. And it sort of rubs off on me in a way. I'm supposed to be around exciting people, happy people. Realistic, of course, but at least keeping that positive spirit. But I notice every time in the fan server, like, people procrastinate on the same jokes over and over again because they can't think of anything else. But then instead of improving, they just self-deprecate. And I think that's silly. Like, self-deprecation has become so overrated nowadays that there's no genuineness to it. It's just a pass-off thing, and I honestly don't respect that in a way. So that's why I'm always encouraging people in the server to just strive for better. Even if you're not funny, you can still talk to people. You can still talk about your day and how you can make it better and stuff. Because that's another thing I've noticed. There's been a lot of kerfuffle in the community. Not my community, but just the overall scale of video game musicians or video game let's players, all that sort of stuff. And to that end, it just stressed everybody out. I just sort of noticed an angry divide in some sense. And at a point, I understand where the statement came from as well. There was a recent statement that was made on Twitter. I'm not going to go into details about it, and just check my retweets, I guess. Don't end up causing a mob mentality out of this either. This is not what we want. But there has been a bit of a kerfuffle in the community that I can't explain to you. There's a lot of people out there who are willing to use and abuse, essentially, and not listen to advice given or willing to improve. And to those people, I really hope for the best in them. I really want them to at least change their mind and go through the positive vibes and do things that, not only make them happy, but make everybody else happy too, but not strive and force it down people's throats and get super dramatic and upset when it doesn't work. People have this major sensitivity problem, and it has happened for several years, and I think, ever since taking the pills, I sort of see where the norm is coming from. So here's the upshand to the pills. What they've given me is a strong backbone. I've been able to tackle on some of the most mundane shit that happens, and usually I'd start delving into the sensitive space. But now I've actually got a thick, strong backbone. And it's only normal for me to now assume that, like, whatever problem you're dealing with, categorize it. And it just sort of goes to show that, like, no matter what problem you go through, it's always best to just categorize it and see what is important, what isn't. The way I like to do that is through first world, second world, and third world problems. Now, the first world problems would be stuff like, oh, my friend called me a bad name, or, oh, my parents shouted at me, or, oh, my brother keeps bullying me. First world problems, seriously. You may think they're bigger, but they're actually not. They're first world problems. Because then we think about the second world problems, financial crisis, losing your job, losing a family member, actually a family member dying, all that sort of stuff. These are second world problems that need a lot more care taken into them. But then you've got the third world problems. Do I need to explain what the third world problem is? Completely homeless, in poverty, lack of food, no water, no family, no trust, and all of that. You've seen it all over. This is why charities exist. And these things are global phenomenons that need care and need attention. So when you start thinking about all of these things, you look at your problems, your mundane things, and go, wow, I'm actually not that bad after all. In the heat of the moment, we like to think that when our sadness gets to us, that it's the most important thing to our lives, but the more we think less about that and the more we try to strive for positivity in ourselves, we end up seeing a much better impact. Because it seems to have become the norm that people associate, oh, I hate my life, and oh, I'm such a sucky person. Nah, you're not. And it's usually a thing. I go into my server and anytime anybody says it, I'm like, wow, how original, self-deprecation. Try harder next time. And by that I mean, how about actually trying for a better joke and not being self-deprecative? Because I know comedy is subjective, but there's also such thing as kicking a dead horse. And unfortunately, that's where most memes go. People think anybody can do the same meme over and over again, but they're just contributing to it dying. Let a good meme be a meme, and there we go. Honestly, for me, I'd say a good lifespan for memes at least 2 weeks, and then gone off the face of the earth. Sorry, there's fucking flies in here. I'm supposed to get bug repellent, but that's another thing. As you can probably tell, I'm not the cleanest state. I got Monster cans everywhere. I got cereal bowls. I got crisp packets, or for you Americans, chip packets. My kitchen is a state, like I've got loads of boxes lying around, lots of sugar, so a lot of flies are being attracted, and it's actually getting really silly. At a point where I'm trying to focus on myself and trying to make others happy and trying to work on my videos, it's gotten to become a severe mess. And then on top of that, a lot of people come over to my house and they also make a mess, but they don't clean it up either. So, and I don't want to tell them to clean it up because I don't want to be a host. Sorry, these flies are really fucking annoying me now. I just wanted to give you a small update as to how my life's going, and I want people to start feeling more positive about themselves, and if they can't, then please seek help. I'm not telling you to go full-blown we happy few here, but at least be realistic that if we don't think happy things, they won't come. Most people deal with shit things because they self-fulfill prophecies. By that, I usually mean when they say something shit's gonna happen and they predict something shit's gonna happen. When that shit actually happens, they give justification like, oh, knew it, knew this was gonna happen, fucking, I knew it. Ooh, I swear to Jesus, I'm gonna kill myself. And that's not a good attitude to have either. Because let's face it, negative shit's gonna happen to us all the time. It always does. But if we're gonna predict it every single day, then it's only gonna make that problem, that small first world problem, look like a big third world, you know what I'm saying? You start to get obsessed with it, and then you start to hate yourself more, and then that's when we get into the situation. Instead, just assume that problems are going to come your way all the time. Think of them as little things, laugh them off, and if you can't get that, surround yourself with people who can, who aren't there to take care of you, but they're there because you love them for them. And also just go for professional help. I always seek professional help, even if I don't feel like I need it. It's always wise to get a second opinion, because they might just turn around and say, oh, it's just temporal sadness, you're fine. But they can also turn around and tell you how to improve. And you can't just get that from friends or family because it's a bias. If you get it from an outsider that's like professional help, then you'll always be fine. And don't give me that bullcrap of, oh, I don't have the finances to get prescribed pills. There are government wages you can get for that stuff. Get signed up with that and sort yourself out. And ultimately, just remember, with every bit of darkness, there's a bit of light at the end of it. Every cloud has a silver lining, so follow through with it. And I guess that's what these pills have taught me. These pills have taught me that while I may not feel like myself right now, at least I'm aware that with every negative, there's always a good. So I can't always predict that there's a negative happening, otherwise I'm gonna fester on it, like I did yesterday. I experimented on myself. I experimented the idea of feeling really shit, and of course, self-fulfilled the prophecy. But the more I invested my time in feeling happier, I was inevitably happy. And while I couldn't do that in the threshold of just normality, I could do that through pills. And that's no shame. You can do it too. So I'd rather people be able to do that as well. Meanwhile, I've got a lot of videos to do. I've got a lot of music to make, all sorts of different things. I'm very busy at the moment. As you can tell, I'm not exactly looking great at the moment, but fear not, I'm coming back stronger and I'm feeling so much better for it. There's gonna be a lot in the works. I hope you guys take a lot of moral lesson from this. And yeah, let's strive for better. Peace out!